Okay, it is April 5th, and I call this meeting to order. It is exactly 6:30 p.m. And the roll call is Mayor Pro Tem Villalobos.
Here.
Councilmember Booker.
Here.
Councilmember McLeod.
Here.
And Councilmember Clinton.
Here.
And I'm Mayor Glaze. If you would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And to the Texas flag, I pledge
Allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And then please remain standing for the invocation. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, Lord God, we just thank you for this beautiful city and for your guidance. And we just pray that you continue to guide us in all of our thoughts and actions. And we just pray that this will continue for a long time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, are there any public comments?
We have two.
Okay. Don,
Yes.
you're up first.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm John Schultz, as you might know. And, where to put these on?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, don't want to, but here we are. Last week, we talked about a commercial property and a personal property. Being a required fence like at the fire department. And I was wondering if it's, you know, the council people said that you look into that, and I was wondering what they discovered about that. Also, according to the code 114-02, it states there should be concrete underneath those food wagons, and I was wondering if that's going to be the case, or they're going to waive that, or what the deal is. I don't know. And then also I noticed that in code 114, it said that the city manager is going to periodically check for sanitation on the food court. And I thought, you know, he's pretty busy as it is, but one day a week he's here. That's kind of interesting how that might get accomplished. But anyways, those are some things I wanted to ask you all.
Was that 114 you said?
Yeah, 114, I don't know if it's -02, or I think it's a scenic corridor. Talked about it, talked about our city manager checking on the sanitary system of the situation periodically and according to the code. And I thought it was kind of interesting because he's pretty busy as he is.
Well, we're not trying to be rude, but during public comments, we're not allowed to
Okay.
comment.
I
But
didn't
if
know.
you want to talk to us afterwards, we can do that after the meeting.
Okay. I just
We'll be
wanted to
happy
know
to.
those are 3 items that I was interested in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Beth Harper.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back
Hey, hadn't seen you in a while.
last month. Okay, two items. First one, maybe for the River Advisory Group, but also y'all need to be aware of this. There was major tree clearing, like a big excavator down in the ditch on the bank of we call it Snake Creek. Somebody else calls it Wolf Creek. It's true, it's Snake Creek. And it's a major tributary to San Marcos River. It's just right upstream of city limits. And it's near the construction side of that stupid loop going through. But anyway, it's in the Martindale ETJ, and it's just right upstream from the city. And so I just want y'all to be aware of that. And I don't know if TCEQ needs to be notified, but I did not see any. Of course, it hadn't rained, so there shouldn't be any worry about drainage right now, but it should be one of these days. Okay, another item. Okay, today, 4:30, driving down here to Martindale. Okay, River Road, Northwest River Road was closed off. 1984 was closed off. Highway 80 was closed off, all 4 lanes. This is at 4:30 in the afternoon. If y'all know anything about traffic, that's bad. That's rush hour. There was something happened. I came upon it as everything was clearing up and everybody started moving. But anyway, it is located in the Martindale city limits. There's a little sliver there, and it's in the Martindale ETJ. But this is where all 3 roads were blocked. And the only law enforcement person was one DPS vehicle that was there. And he was doing all the work. And I know that y'all got Mr. Ward is supposed to be the law enforcement person. Did not see him at all. Just want y'all to be aware of that.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to reports. I did want to make a comment about fundraiser on Sunday. The fire department, I know it's not the city, but I know a lot of people were there. They were wildly successful. They started out wanting to make $2,000. Then they thought, well, maybe we'll make 5. They made 10.
Excellent.
So they are very ecstatic, and we wanted to thank the community. Everybody was incredibly generous. And so the fire department really does thank you. For city news, for library news, April 9th on this coming Saturday is Kite Day. We've been mowing the park and trying to get it ready and everything. So it's really, I know it was fun last year. Do you want to say anything about the Kite Day? Are you involved with it this year?
No, not this year, just with the first one. The library has taken it over and they're putting it on, but thank you to the library.
Yeah.
I think it was, in the time of like COVID, and it seemed like there could be nothing, could be done. It was outdoors, you're able to be with your family, and there was not only kids flying kites, but it's like for adults too. It could be for any age. So that's amazing. We had a bunch of families, so
Yeah.
thank you.
And we have some surprises.
You have surprises.
All right.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Yep.
So we didn't have to hold an election because all 3 of our candidates are unopposed. Mike McLeod, Sonia, and then Nick Styler will be coming on May 10th. And so we're going to move our city council meeting from the 3rd to the 10th because the election is actually the Saturday before the 10th. So we can't do the legal things we have to do with the election until the 10th. And then we can also swear all 3 of those members in for the next term. So the meetings in May will be the 10th and the 17th. And then people are already asking me, when is the parade going to be? So July 2nd is a Saturday. So the 4th falls on Monday. And so we're going to have the parade on Saturday, July 2nd. Okay, and that's all I have to report.
Can I mention something that's
Yes.
going on?
Yeah,
The silo sale is Sunday, to let y'all know.
the second Sundays,
Yeah,
second Sunday. Okay.
yeah, wait, it's this Sunday, right?
And then
Make sure.
just to add on that, like it's been, like the turnout has been very well, that Max House has changed their days to now change it to the second weekends of the month instead of the 3rd. So just to kind of like, build on that community and helping one another out.
It's been great. It's really been popular. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll go on to city and mystery.
A couple things. First one, there's an upcoming public meeting regarding a TCEQ wastewater permit application that's connected to the Cotton Center Walton development. That's, to our knowledge, it's still scheduled for April 11th at 7 p.m., I believe. We'll publish that on our city website. Members of the community who aren't unable to attend online from their homes are welcome to come to City Hall and participate in that hearing here.
So it's a Zoom thing.
Yeah, I think it's technically go-to meeting, but it's like a Zoom.
Oh, but it's gonna be here.
We will make it available here
Oh, okay.
as best as we can for those who can't participate from home. Now, space is limited here, and I know that we've been advised to try to boost the numbers. So if you want to if members of the community want to participate from home, you certainly can. You do not have to come here to participate in that.
Yes, I had a question about that. So we'll be listening to the meeting, but then comments can be made from the public or the city council, or is it muted, or do you?
I believe there's a opportunity for public comments to be made during that hearing. So it is best if there is a significant concern about a specific issue, that members of the community take advantage of the ability to submit their comments in writing prior to the meeting. At the close of that meeting is likely when they're going to shut off the commenting period. So if you're unexpectedly unable to attend, or if there's something that you really care about and want to have included as part of TCEQ's consideration, I strongly recommend that those individuals submit a written comment. And that information on how to do that's available here at City Hall. If someone has questions, or they can contact us or send me an email, or want to talk to somebody on city staff, planning, zoning commission members, or what have you. I'm sure there's plenty of outlets. If you want to know how to submit a comment, ask somebody that probably knows somebody who knows how to do it.
So, okay, I mean, not to drag it out, but then would you submit a comment, or could the public speak during the Zoom meeting at the same time? Do they want a paper copy and then they'll talk, or?
They should be allowed to speak during that, and that will be considered part of the record.
Yes.
I would encourage those who want to speak to also submit a written comment if that's available to them.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, is that going to be a regular scheduled city council meeting?
What we'll probably do is publish a notice of possible quorum and then making it available. I don't think we'll have a city council meeting over the top of that.
Are you going to attend?
My intention is to do so, yeah.
Can I ask you about quorum? I mean, with 4 of us, that's.
As long as we publish a possibility that a quorum will take place, and with the dates, locations, times, that satisfies our needs under the Open Meetings Act.
So with 4 of us in the city council, if 3 of us are here, is
That's
that
fine.
still a quorum?
So you can all be here. Once the notice of quorum is posted, stating where the council may likely all be, quorum may likely be, and when they'll be there. I mean, if you wanted to post a notice of quorum saying we'll all be at Mike's house on Saturday night, you could do that. Gotta give people notice.
Okay. No, I just wanted clarification, since there's reduced city council now, and what defines a quorum.
A quorum is still defined by the total number that there could be. So a quorum is 3, and then for a special meeting, it's got to be all of the remaining council members.
Okay, thank you.
And related, myself, the mayor, and Councilmember McLeod met with the executive director of the San Marcos River Foundation, SMRF, and discussed what their concerns were. And so we had some coordination on understanding what their concerns are, where the city might need to consider looking at for our comments. And that was a fruitful meeting. We also discussed other items related to environmental concerns regarding the river. So that was a good meeting to have. Hiring, we have, as city council knows, from previous city council actions, hired our building official and our zoning administrator / economic development coordinator. They have both started. They're doing fabulous work so far. Greatly impressed with both of them. Lee Rust is our building official, grabbed that bull by the horns and is making improvements already. And Lisa's working a number of projects regarding development agreement, short-term rentals, and other things. And so we're good on that path. We're also looking to hire and accommodate, using our city staff, one of our municipal clerks, court clerks, helping us out on the utility desk, and looking at possible additional hires there as we go to a 5-day work week, which begins this week. So if those who want to come in to pay their bill on a Friday, you should have the opportunity to do so.
And we'll change the website to say that.
Also held a meeting with our grant administrator and our engineer regarding our hazard mitigation grant that's doing a large project between Lockhart Street, Quail Run along Northwest River Road. That's proceeding. Surveys have been done, are continuing to take place. Members of the community, if you have not submitted a right of entry form and you are within that project area, I encourage you to do so. That way we can expedite this process. All it does is provide the permission to the surveyors to step on your lawn so they can line up their sites and make sure they understand where the project area is. And that way we're able to proceed with the rest of the planning. One of the concerns there was the environmentals. I met with a part of that monthly meeting included the environmental consultant, and she's taking steps forward on preparing those reports related to the cemetery and others. So things are progressing, invoices are being processed, and work is continuing on that front. That's all I have.
Okay, we'll move on to the financial report.
Okay, so this is the financial report. See here the bank balances as of today. You see the general fund at 45,377, the street and road fund 55,64, and on down the road, court restricted, police restricted, utilities, community development, total in the bank in Lockhart $106,000. Going down, you see the tax pool investment funds. The emergency fund is at $222,295. The Public Funds Investment Act. All of these little subtotals here total $541,000 in that account. Long-term capital improvement fund, $95,090. And due the comptroller for the fines, it's down to $320 now. Any questions on the bank balances as of today? Okay, the next.
So wait, can you back up from grant funds a little bit? What was the 60 quarterly court? Oh, that's the court due.
Yeah, I guess I should get that out of there. You know, I think when I first started over 3 years ago now, there was money in there, but we've got another account for the court money that I use at Lockhart Bank instead of that one. Perhaps it was being used to keep the balance below a maximum amount, but yeah, that's.
I first confused that with the comptroller, the money we're paying to the comptroller.
And that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a small amount.
You might write the check. All right, the next one should be the general fund budget report here. This report is through February, roughly 40% through the year. You see the property tax revenue, 92% collected. Looks like we've only got about 29,000 left as of the end of February, so those monies are coming in well. And then you see municipal court revenue, franchise fees, right on track. So is permit fees, sales tax revenue is strong. So income looks good. You see the personnel section there. Every line item there is below budget except workers' comp, and that's because that is front paid. It's not that we've had expense, it's just the insurance is paid ahead. That little credit you see there is that $12,000 credit. That's money that comes from the utility fund to reimburse for the clerk's payroll up there. Operating expenses total 26,879, 32% of budget. The only ones that look over software expense and maybe travel. So there's been a fair amount of travel related to the police chief interviews that we've spent this year.
655, the property liability insurance, 5,000. Is that like a quarterly payment?
That it is paid quarterly, and one of them was just posted. So yeah, that's another one of those that's paid up front. You prepay for insurance, and then it burns off.
Hmm.
So
So it's 9,000 a year, or is that the
Yeah.
budget?
that's
Oh,
the
so we're
budget.
halfway through.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it may actually, it's audited at the end of the year, and there's a chance that if our revenues are up, that the premium could be up. That's what they base it on. So, then you also see another credit here, $69.99 overhead reimbursement from utility. That's where they pay their share of the overhead of this building, including oversight by Jared and me and others have worked into that.
Office supplies,
Office supplies. So anyway, we prove that number out about once a year, and the last time we did it was pretty accurate. Other expenses, miscellaneous expenses, that's more expenses have been going in there related to the police chief search. Then you see court restricted tech expenses. Maybe I shouldn't have used that line. I see there's no budget there, but I've been transferring money from the court's got some designated money for software, and I've been transferring money from that to cover their software, and it's expenses.
Which
sticking
line
out
item
there.
is that?
740, 70/40.
Oh.
It probably would come out of the special funds,
Okay.
special revenue fund.
All right, I'll look over there and see if I should be moving some money over from there, I guess, as well. And otherwise, contracted services, once again, if we're looking at 40% through the year, audit fees, the audit is done the beginning of the year, that's why that's 93%. Engineering, I guess we spent the whole budget already on that one. IT is a little ahead of plan. And otherwise, the other lines look okay. Professional fees. It's
About what percentage should we be at?
41, I think. Whatever, what is this? 7/12. Do that math, and that's where we should be. On down through property maintenance. All in all, the contract services are 52% of budget, which is higher than the 40%. But I mentioned the audit is prepaid. You see the library line there. We paid that one of the two payments there, which makes that line item appear over, but that's exactly right. Anyway, income over expenses. You see it $213,000 so far year to date against a balanced budget. You see it zero there. So, yeah, that's where we are operationally in the general fund. Any questions on that report? All right, the next page is vendor payments. That comptroller public account, that's quarterly payment for the traffic fines. That only shows up once a quarter. That law office payment there, Floyd Acres, that was related to the former police chief mediation. Everything else looks out of the ordinary there to me. Y'all don't have any questions?
I'm wondering for the Rick's lock, did we have other changes?
The $600 was for a new safe,
Okay,
and the $137, is that what you had?
Court
At the
door.
post
Oh,
office.
this door. We had to get this door rekeyed, and then also,
The post office.
we got the little bulletin board at the post office rekeyed.
It's under glass.
Oh,
but
is
our-
it? nice,
You don't
okay.
have to ask every time.
Yeah, they let us, have access since we, since they couldn't get in it anymore, I guess. We agreed to rekey it.
Oh, yes.
Here's the special revenue fund. You see here, street and road tax, hotel tax, all the various little things that are not necessarily operating revenues. And we're at 21,465, 45% of the budget. So that, those funds are, looks like they're coming in at the right clip. And I think we'll see we've not spent a penny of them as we look down at the expenses. But it looks like street and road, maybe I should update some of that, move some of that over from the general fund.
Did we spend something on the hotel tax?
No,
Seems like-
Well, at one time we did, but we voided it. We were gonna sponsor a
But after-
chili cook-off or
Like
something.
higher before, it was like almost in the, over 20,000 or 30.
Well, if, on the first page, the accumulated number is like 48,000.
Oh, okay.
50,000.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is just this year to date that's come in.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, utility fund. You see, year to date, 133,565. In the various incomes, you see 41.7, that's right on track. And expenses at 40.9, those right on track in total. And you get to the bottom, I think we've got a positive income over expense, so the utility fund is cash flowing itself as well. And then here are payments out of that fund. I guess that is it. No surprises. Good this month. I think.
Thank you. So next we have our new city clerk would like to do a presentation on how to do our minutes.
oh, okay, so do we want to do that now or do it under the discussion action?
Well, he was gonna give the report now and then we vote on it
Yeah,
later.
that works.
Just for the minute.
If there's any discussion on it, on what he's presenting, that would have to be later in the agenda. Is the only issue.
Should we move it then?
I would consider doing that,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll move that for a little bit later. Let's move on to the police report. Oh. I don't think he's,
Coming?
Judge Cusco on.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him.
All right, we're ready for the police report.
Hello. Thank y'all so much. So we had, last month, in the month of March, we had 58 violations written. I've been working with the code enforcement officer and getting together on how him and I are going to enforce the code violations, what he's doing versus what I'm doing. So him and I have been talking and discussing how that's going to happen. And I just want to answer a question about the fatality accident that happened yesterday morning out here on Highway 80 at 142. So there was a fatality accident. The bicyclist that usually rides around out there got struck by a vehicle, and the highway patrol worked that. I contacted the highway patrol sergeant right off the bat when they called me and asked them, they have the expertise in fatality accidents and it is running on pedestrians, and the highway patrol came and worked that.
I did want to make a comment about it. Gabriel Zuniga loaned his bicycle to this man so that he could ride home the night before. So the man killed was not Gabriel.
Right.
And some people have called City Hall asking about that. I don't know the name of the man who did pass away, but it wasn't Gabriel Zuniga. I just wanted to say that.
Was that accident, was it daylight?
It was dark
It
still.
was dark,
Yes.
early morning?
Yes.
Crossing the highway, or was he just on the front edge?
He's on the side of the roadway.
Hit and run.
Always on the phone. What?
No, I think
No.
the car was still there.
They stayed there.
Oh, they did, oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I guess everybody knows at that light, if it's green, you wait 30 seconds or whatever, you look.
Well, it wasn't at the light, it
over
was
the
farther
down the
down.
street.
Yes.
You know, if the rest was made at the scene.
No, I don't believe so. I mean, I don't think, right now it's early, they're gonna put it all together, reconstruct the whole scene.
I've been asked that there was a video that showed that the driver was not at fault. Can you answer that?
They did not tell me that, Highway Patrol didn't tell me that.
Okay,
They have they have the tools, they have the total station and everything else that can come out and plot that. We don't have that. That's a $25,000 instrument, just to use for. So they're experts in that.
Real quick, so he wasn't hit crossing the 80, he was on the edge of 80?
Yes, sir, that's my understanding.
it's very sad.
Yes, it is.
Really sorry for the
I think there
accident.
was a request from the community to take the video off of the Martindale Community Facebook page because someone said, you shouldn't be showing this. And I think it has since been removed. So.
Oh, it was a video after the fact. It was a video after the fact or? Is it a
Yes.
video
It was after the fact.
After the fact.
Someone drove by and you can see.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not an actual video, it's an actual.
It was just the bicycle and, the bicycle in the
Yeah,
road.
it was accident. Someone took it down. They took it down. It was taken
Yes.
down right after it was requested.
Thank you.
And then, so I just have a question, because I would like to know, since it happened, I know that you said that the DPS worked the case. I'm sure that Caldwell County was there as well on the scene. Did they call you to the scene, or,
They did, they called me at 7:09 a.m. Yes, ma'am.
and you were able to respond?
I did not respond because the Highway Patrol said they were going to cover it and work that. I'd worked the night before.
Yeah.
All night long.
Well, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to the court report. If Judge Fusco is on,
He's out here.
oh, he's in,
He's what?
he's in the building.
Oh,
Thank you, Judge.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good.
Okay, we have got the report. You'll see the numbers in front of you as far as our quarterly estimate and then our numbers as compared to last year. And I was just speaking with Mr. Ward, and there may be an issue with Cop Sync because he's got some different numbers than I do as far as citations. So and we're just talking about that. So we're going to obviously look into that, but there's nothing extraordinary or unusual about it. If anybody has any questions, I'll do my best.
Are you
to
going
answer.
to give us both numbers, your numbers and his numbers?
Oh, his numbers, my numbers were lower than what Cop Sync was, what he had reported to Cop Sync by about, I don't know, by about 20%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a significant discrepancy.
It is a discrepancy.
Yes, we're gonna find out why. And I ran my report several times and anyway, but
But y'all in communication with that, okay.
oh, yeah, we're in constant communication. No,
Good.
we'll figure it out. We're gonna, we're looking forward to working with you.
Okay.
But if anybody has any questions or anything, I'll be happy to try and answer.
I had a question.
Yes.
If someone comes in and pays a ticket, fine, or if it became a warrant, I don't know. Do you accept payment, multiple forms of payment, check, credit card, cash? I mean, do you have the ability to transact credit cards?
Oh, sure, that's our main form of payment. We don't take cash.
You don't take cash?
No,
Even if someone walks in with cash?
yeah, we would send them to go get a money order or something. We don't want people, we don't, for obvious reasons.
Paper trail.
Yeah.
No, just for security purposes. We don't.
Oh, yeah,
You don't want to make,
We don't want people under the impression that we take cash. Cash, and we don't. It's just nobody, I mean, who carries cash anymore? It's just easier, and it happens very rarely. And, you know, every now and then we'll say, yeah, you can go down there and get a cashier's check, and they always come right back. So it's kind of a non-issue. But yeah, that's what we do. We take everything but cash.
okay, thank you.
I know Letty has sent out a number of postcards for warrants. And so she's been clearing up a lot of that. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, it's been trickling in. I mean, it's not having the official warrant roundup. We're kind of like on our own, and you know, it makes all the difference in the world when you have the nightly news in Austin saying, yeah, we're coming to get you. Explaining what happens to people that neglect certain matters. And you know, so that's a big difference. But they have been coming in, and she's working very hard, and she's sending out cards, she's sending out letters. We're actively pursuing that right now, and we're maybe going to be talking to a third party about some assistance in that for collection. But it's being everything that we can do, and we're talking a lot about it because we, you know, quite frankly, we just we've got some cases we just need cleared up. But we are working our hardest on it.
Thank you. Was there any other questions? All right.
All right,
Thank you.
Sorry. I'm going to be back here, and when y'all get ready for the swearing in, just yell at me, okay?
Okay,
All right.
should be shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have planning and zoning report?
No, but there's a lot of things in the works, so it's ongoing.
Like
So
what?
I've been in communication with Lisa, and there's a lot of things coming up, but nothing to bring in front of the council at this moment. So it'll all come at once.
Whoa. I think you ought to talk about what you're working on.
There's just several things we talked about. I mean, the taco
Well, next
fillets,
time, yeah, okay.
there's nothing, it's a process.
But that would be okay just to kind of list some of the things that you're
Well,
working
we got the taco
on. And, or
fillets.
at least tell me.
I can give them tell you later. You want to talk to you right now?
We'll do it later.
Okay.
But also we have, you know, the owner from Taco
Yeah,
Feliz
that's been.
who's here. Will
that's
it
been
be on
reached
the,
out- That's been reached out, and there's been communication with the elevation.
Yeah, I was just wondering what's process, just checking up on it.
I was told you're gonna send some photographs in of your
Yeah.
existing building that you have in San Marcos. Or not, saying it's gonna be a similar design of what you're gonna do here.
Yeah, I was checking up, I applied for I applied for, what was it, sorry.
Likely either a variance or a zoning change request. And the application's in review. I know our zoning administrators discussed it with our planning and zoning chair, and they're making plans to have that presented at a future planning and zoning meeting. Should be in short order, so.
Did you get the photographs of your building?
Yes.
Is that gonna be similar to what you propose or on your design?
I'm trying to make it a little better, but yeah, something close.
That would be good to do if you get that to us. Okay.
So that's all you guys need, I just checked it out.
Well, we'll give you, yeah, I think we'll take that conversation offline on getting that application completed and then brought to council.
I just wanted to make, just to, you know, respectfully, just let them know. So they'll get in touch with you, Javier.
It's been about 4 months, that's why.
Okay, anybody from the Historic Commission? Okay, the Martindale San Marcos River Advisory Committee, we have her report here.
She's here.
And Joy, would you like to speak to that?
Sure. I don't have anything earth shattering to report. Our work group is continuing to go over floodway and floodplain regulations and on both Martindale and other flood-prone communities. We're working on compiling an information packet for Riverside landowners.
Oh,
And
cool.
that would, cover stuff like how to prevent erosion or what kind of native plants best hold the ground, and how to keep the beavers from eating your saplings and that sort of thing. Let's see, we are organizing an Earth Day weekend river cleanup to coincide with the city's citywide cleanup on April 23rd. We will have volunteers sign up and supply necessary items, gloves, hand sanitizers, bags, etc. We'll start in the morning, divide up into teams, and then reconvene 11:30 to noonish. And we still have to decide where we're going to reconvene, either at Allen Bates Park or possibly the courtyard across from City Hall. But we don't want to interfere with anything that the cafe might have going on. As of today at 6 p.m., the public meeting with TCEQ to discuss the Walton development wastewater discharge permit is still scheduled for April 11th, 7 p.m. There is, for anybody that can't make it, there is a link, and I'm happy to get that to you when I get home, to submit online comments
Okay.
ahead of time or during the meeting.
If we could get that link, we'll put it on the city website.
Okay, I actually have it here. I'll just give it to Adrian.
Okay.
Matthew McGovern has submitted his application to join the River Advisory Committee. We're happy about that. This will, of course, necessitate changes in our membership and/or officers. And we will update you with that information as well.
I believe on that issue, council appoints members, so
Yeah.
whatever the recommendation.
So if there is a change, then we, at the
Okay.
next meeting.
And then I neglected to post here that Matthew's wife, Dorothy Jo McGovern, has been very active in seeking options to deal with the trash on Highway 80. It's been a significant blight on our little city, and so we're grateful for her work.
Thank you.
I had a question. You mentioned beavers. I have some land on the river across from Spencer's, and I have a big bend in the river, and I saw something go in the water. Do you think it could have been a muskrat or a beaver
Well,
or?
we had both nutria and beavers and otters, actually,
Hmm.
so it could have been any one of those.
And then what I'm also doing is pulling out all the water hyacinth. That's a very
Oh, good, yeah.
nuisance plant. So whenever you see that blooming, please remove it from the river.
I neglected to mention, April 23rd is also the citywide cleanup day from 8 to noon. So if we could be sure to spread the word, we've been trying to spread the word because last year we did it so quickly that some people felt like they weren't informed. So it was in the newsletter last month, and we'll put it in again this month.
Mayor,
So-
I forgot to let you finish.
Well, I was going to tell Joy, thank you. Thank you very much.
I
Yes.
forgot to add, I talked to Donald, the road maintenance supervisor in Lockhart, and we're still scheduled for the overlay on Lockhart Street. He said, I talked to him last week, so he said 2 to 3 weeks, so it's just like he's on schedule for the end of this
Middle.
month, something like that. And he
Middle.
said, depends on said the asphalt plant is up and running and the weather holds like it is, we should be able to have that thing done. So that's good news for the city. And that process would probably only take a few days to do the overlay, so there won't be a big traffic jam stuff situation. So,
Okay,
by
thank
anything.
you.
Okay.
Thank you for giving us that information. Okay, we're going to move on to new business.
I was going to say one thing about the parks.
Yes,
We had thank Sonia and Carlton Carl for getting the LCRA Bluebonnet grant, $1,000 grant for purchasing trees in the park. So we planted 2 30-gallon live oak trees, one Shumard red oak and a chinkapin oak. We also mulched around all those new trees, and we mulched around the other trees. Also, we got the playground, and also thank the mayor for showing up and Jan for bringing some tools. But they weeded out the children's playground area in the mulch and the swing set. So all the weeds have been removed. Thanks so much. And I encourage anyone as a citizen, whenever you see an overflowing garbage can or garbage on any of our parks, to have an extra trash bag in your car and pick up any kind of trash whenever you see it. I appreciate that, of course. And I will be watering these trees as frequently as is needed since they're new plantings. So stop by and see our new trees in the park. It looks very good. Thank you.
Sam, and you didn't, you need to toot your own horn because you got all the mulch. So toot toot for
Yeah.
you, thank you. I mean, you always just do so much for our parks, and I really appreciate it. So thank you,
Yeah, I
Sam.
drove to New Braunfels Landscape Supply and got a yard of this better mulch, and then I got another truckload of the mulch since I had a tree cut. And then also, again, want to thank Sean McDonald, a friend of the parks, who dug the holes for the tree with his backhoe. So
Thank you, Sam. I didn't mean to skip over you. It was a nice day. It was very pleasant. And the people from LCRA were really wonderful. Okay, so we're going to move on to new business and the selection of the chief of police. It was a long process, and it was very interesting and informative, and there were lots of ups and downs in the last few months as we went to select the police chief. And this last Saturday, we met on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock for 2 hours. And we finally made a selection. And our selection is our interim police chief, Tommy Ward. And if you,
So I believe this appointment, I think it's subject to confirmation from council still.
Okay.
That point was not handed.
so I have
You need to make-
appointed,
There you go.
I have appointed Tommy Ward to be our full-time police chief. And do we have a motion?
I have a motion that we appoint Tommy Ward as the police chief.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Do you want to just briefly mention how you came to that conclusion, or what you like about him, or anything? Or?
Difficult.
It was a difficult, all three candidates were so highly qualified, and we were very fortunate. I think a lot of the public got to meet the candidates the Saturday before. And we spent 3-4 hours, I guess it was 4 hours, over at the feed barn. And anybody who wanted to meet them did come by. And we asked people to make notes on cards. And then we sorted those cards out and looked at all the comments. And they were very even. There were 4 positive comments for CG, Walwyn. There were 5 for Jimmy Macon, and then there were 8 for Tommy Ward. And so we feel very fortunate that we have such a good selection, and we just are feeling that this is a really positive time for our city. So if there is no more discussion on this,
Well, I was going to comment and just say one thing. You were back and forth, and we were all thinking about this so much, but you were deciding
Okay, yeah.
what was best for the city, and that someone can really start working now
Working
and,
right
and
away.
hire people, and you.
we've been leading on the county pretty heavy to help with support. Although our interim chief has been out there policing the roads on weekends and evenings. So we have had some coverage. It's, it's time to move forward. And so he's been here, he knows a lot of people, and we just felt that it would take another 2 to 3 months to get somebody who didn't know the city as well as Tommy did. So that's kind of what kind of pushes over the edge. The fact that we had more positive comments from the public for Tommy Ward, and that we really need to get going and hire 1 or 2 more officers and just really start policing our city full-time.
Need to relieve the county.
I have some items that I would like to say. So whenever you're saying, I mean, the decision, basically, it was a tie decision, and the mayor is deciding who to appoint from our discussions that we had. Another thing that I wanted to say is, I'm very concerned because I have the utmost respect for you. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with the caliber of man or employee you are. You're a very dedicated employee to your job with the state. And I mean, we are so blessed to have had you here and going to have you here. But I have concerns just like with having 2 full-time jobs, 2 40-hour-a-week full-time jobs. I know that I've been assured that you could do it, but just as a physical human being with well-being and, things that you have to do, I mean, I just don't see how 80 hours a week is feasible for a human to thrive on. Maybe it's because I only have 1 job and, that's how it's done. But, my whole concerns and what I've heard, some citizens stating also is just that I heard that, it could take longer, it could take 2 more months, but yet those are the candidates that our interview panel put forward through. So it taking 2 more months or 3 more months wasn't a newsflash when our hiring panel are the ones who chose those candidates. So, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that on record, I'm concerned that our full-time chief of police has another full-time job with the state. I believe it's over 3,000 employees, right? 3,006, about 3,000 employees. So, I mean, his work ethic, his record of that caliber speaks for himself. Definitely, he will be in my prayers, also for the citizens of Martindale. And, I just wanted to make sure to voice that. And so that way it was on record.
Am I allowed to respond or no?
Yes.
I mean, I worked here for 2.5 years before I with the exact same job. And no one said a word. I believe people were on the council at the same time. Some of these people were the same council members. I did it for 2.5 years before without any problems whatsoever.
But you weren't police chief then?
But I was a police officer and doing a lot of things, nights and weekends. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I mean, and I understand that, but just like the man that was killed on Highway 80, when I got the call that the judge had pronounced them, deceased, whenever I spoke to the mayor, she said that you were answering the call along there with the officers and DPS. So, I mean, and I hear you worked all night the night before. That's, it's a lot. And then you have a job the next day. So I get it, and that's just the type of caliber the person you are. So
Well,
just
probably
thank
the
you.
misconception is the county does not work traffic crashes either. The sheriff's department does not work crashes. Highway patrol works crashes. And that's their job. So they're the experts in fatalities. I would call them anytime. If I was standing right there, I'd call them.
I understand.
Okay, so it was a difficult decision. We were here for 2 hours Saturday morning. With all things being equal, it did tip a little bit more towards Mr. Chief Ward. And so we are giving the job to Chief Ward, and I'm very happy about that. So if there are no more comments, we'll go ahead and vote. And so since Councilman McLeod has made the motion and Councilman Clinton has seconded the motion, I will ask Jan, what is your vote?
Yes.
And Sonia, what is your?
No.
Okay, so the motion carries. And Chief Ward is our chief of police. And the judge is here to swear him in.
Excellent. All right. All right. Raise your right hand. Okay. Tommy Ward.
I, Tommy Ward,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of Chief of Police
the duties of office of Chief of Police
of the city of Martindale
of the city of Martindale
and the state of Texas,
and the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of the state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Chief,
So
signature right here.
signature.
Sound lively.
Okay, we'll move on to Adrian's presentation.
Everyone, do you mind if I sit down? Whatever you want to do.
It's your stage, Adrian.
Wherever you're most comfortable.
So on slide 2, it's kind of a brief rundown of what we'll be addressing. And so we're going to look at 2 examples from San Marcos and here at Martindale of the minutes we've done in the past few years. This is my 5th day as in the office as a city clerk, so this is what I observed. And so I'm going to show the current state of how we are doing on minutes and in correspondence of section 551.021 of the local government code, and then how we can address the current state of our minutes and recordings. Granted, this meeting is being recorded, so and how to go about publishing those recordings, things to look out for, and possible revision of the ordinance. So on slide 3, on the agenda packet, it's on there. So this is Martindale minutes. So agenda, it's on the left, discussing the matter of the police chief. You can't really see on small text here, but on the right is the minutes and the whole kind of brief summary of what went on that meeting in December of last year. On the next slide, you'll see San Marcos, and this is one agenda item, and it just has the for and against. And it's the motions made by council members in San Marcos. And so for us to, on the next slide, this is how we're doing on minutes. Then that might be why.
Real quick. Yeah, so that kind of sets the context for the rest of the conversation. So right now, we are keeping very detailed minutes as required, as well, at least what our understanding what the requirement is, providing the discussion as it relates to the policymaking process, along with the votes. Other cities provide, as his example, use San Marcos as an example, simple votes on those items, and we'll get to how they're doing that through video in a second, but that's a key feature that we're trying to address.
Right, and thank you. So right now, as of 2022 and 2021, and granted the pandemic probably had some influence and short staff, and we are behind about 24, 25 sets of minutes. Each meeting goes about 2 hours. So that's about 50 hours of recordings, and then plus labor, given each item has a description. And so I have a proposal of how we can become compliant with local government code and still provide minutes.
Do you listen to the recordings or do you watch the Zoom meetings? How are you going to accomplish that?
And so we do have recordings. So right now, this meeting's being recorded. You can say hi to the camera if you like. And so we wait and listen, we go back, and if someone said something unclear, we have to go back and listen carefully and try to get the spirit of the meeting in writing. And so there would be to do an interpretation of whoever the city clerk is. And that's how we do our minutes. That's that summaries you provide is just our interpretation of the context of the meeting and what each item is.
So think about it. If you're, as he's mentioned, it's 48 hours of audio, visual to listen through, read through, pause, write the summary, listen to it again, make sure it's accurate, move on to the next. So really, this backlog is probably hundreds of hours of work, and we've attacked it many ways. We've dedicated our prior city clerk to work it. Before he was an interim city clerk, he was helping writing minutes. We've utilized our court clerk to help catch up on minutes. It is a big elephant to chew one at a time. So
Especially
it's
like this last month when we had a meeting every Tuesday.
yeah, sometimes twice a week. So
And so on the next slide, I'm going to go over to section 551.021 of the local government code. It says that minutes or recordings of an open meeting is required. Now, if you see section 551.128 about internet broadcasting, that only really applies to cities with above 50,000 population who have to make a recording. We're not in that level. However, we do have recordings. So just because we have recordings doesn't mean we have to do this. But we are able to either, a government body shall prepare and keep minutes or make a recording of each meeting. Usually cities of our capacity cannot do that because of how much this equipment costs. But thanks to ARPA and all that stuff, we were able to get the equipment. And so on the next slide, we'll show that we can create a YouTube channel uploading our videos of our recordings, and it would still be compliant. If we publish these videos to YouTube, which many other cities have, we'll be compliant with the chapter 551, and we could put them in our city webpage as well. This shouldn't cost us anything.
So there's no storage fee?
No.
So that-
On YouTube? Yeah.
No, and so on the next slide, I believe.
real quick on that topic though,
Yes.
we are 2 weeks away from needing to renew our contract for our Zoom. And we have exceeded our video cloud storage by like almost 100 gigabytes. And we're at risk of losing that data if they were to crack down and reset us back at our contracted limit. And in order to accommodate just the storage capacity that we already have, be $1,600 just to maintain the videos we have. If we wanted to go towards increased capacity in our cloud storage that would accommodate future meetings, we're looking at $6,000. So this is also an alternative way to keep ours to, what's that?
It's per year.
Yeah, that was per year. That's an annual cost that I quoted.
We
So-
have to have all the meetings available to the public at any time. You can't
Well, so-
store them on an external drive.
So right now, we have the ability to download off of Zoom and store those video files. How those video files are 5 gigabytes each and it takes probably like 6 to 8 hours to transfer files of that size onto our network drive. And it really, oh wait.
There goes the
It takes about 5 or 6 hours to transfer files, and so that's each video. And so we've accumulated, 50 some odd videos, and we've tried moving those files, and you can't get any work done with that way. So and we've looked into using our Civic Plus website, worked with them on what it would cost to get our a media upgrade, and it's starting at about $10,000 a year. And we asked them, is there another option that we could use? No, and our storage limits for our document folders on there is like 25 gigabytes or something like that. So we quickly exceed our storage capacity on our website as well. So YouTube is also a way for us to be able to archive that video in a least cost method. And
Yeah, how many do we have to have available for the public?
we don't have to have them available for the public at all. Right now, we don't publish those videos. They can be made available under a freedom of or open records request. But we do not publish those currently. And the option that he was discussing on the previous slide, under the requirements of us to document the under the meeting, we either have minutes or a recording. The proposal that he's describing is shifting to a much more slimmed down minutes, making reference to a recording. And on this slide, if you look at the bottom left, that would be a table similar to what we would do on our website, where people would click a link and access the video recording. It was hosted by YouTube.
And how many available, how many?
Like on Caldwell, if you go to the Caldwell County page here, they have all of their meetings online. Like you could go back and they have a whole slew of them. And then you just pick the meeting that you want to go to. It has the agenda items. You click on the agenda item and it takes you straight to that video where it starts from those minutes. And they just have everything stored there on there.
Some of those capabilities, timestamping, that might be, we're looking into how we do that. We might just make mention of the timestamp in the minutes so that people can quickly move their cursor and fast forward in YouTube. The ability to click on an agenda item and those things through our website, that's where the 10,000 plus cost would for that type of feature.
Have you looked at the Caldwell County one?
Yes, and so I was going to propose that in the next 2 slides, I believe.
Okay.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Are you going to, so you're going to reduce the actual writing of the minutes, name description verbally?
Yes, and so people
The
will
only
refer to what you guys are saying in person.
The only thing that would concern me, I know in my past career, minutes were very important because that's what people agreed upon. I mean, if it's the same old thing, but if we got a really important issue, I think it needs to be in written form. If it's something,
the possibility of that written form being more accurate than the recording of the actual event, I think are pretty slim. You would have more accurate reference to watching the video of that discussion than we would summarizing it in a minute.
But what Adrian's going to propose is exactly what you're saying. It would be a slim down, it would have all the motions, who makes the motions and everything. Isn't that correct, Adrian?
Yes.
It just won't
So
be
this will give
verbatim.
us time to provide our minutes and recordings in a timely manner and still give us time to actually make the minutes happen.
I totally agree. I tell you what you're both saying, but I'm just saying, if there's, one thing I could say, like, for example, that's my last career, I would cut and paste, for example, I had a report, I'd say, hey, this issue was discussed on, August 5th, city council meeting, item number 5 or whatever. You can cut and paste and actually have the written statement. Now, what I'm saying is something that's critical, not the everyday thing, something we're changing zoning or we're changing something that's big, I don't know if we could put that in there, if that makes any sense what I'm saying.
So in approving minutes, you might make that comment, say, I need this to be stated at so-and-so that I need my statement to be said or in this proposal of minutes.
Put your input.
We could do that. He's exactly right. We could add to
We
it.
got it,
But
I read you, you're like,
we could do that.
So,
There's nothing that would prevent us from doing that. My recommendation would be that our minutes would be, instead of looking like they are today, would look like an example with San Marcos where agenda item for, against, and then it would just record the vote. If there's other discussion, that's available through the recording.
Which someone could get from an Open Meetings Act.
Well, today they could get it from Opens Meeting Act. Tomorrow, figuratively tomorrow. If the council chooses to make an action on this tonight, what we would do is we'd provide a link to the YouTube video.
I think for me, I mean, I've been on council, I've been here for a while, but it's very rare that if there was something really critical that I would request it that's be in writing. Now, that would be acceptable or not.
Just like how you
Really
guys,
rare.
just how you guys accept minutes, you revise them, see, I don't really like this. This didn't accurately describe what I was trying to get across. You could just return back in the minutes that we propose. However, the recordings is what you guys are saying. And so the recording is meant for people who missed the council meeting or really need to understand or visit what is going on in the council meeting. And so I don't say you don't have a say in much of what happened with the police chief, but you really care about the river. And so you can skip the police chief conversation and go back to the recordings, and it'll show all things river, and it'll be searchable on our city's webpage and our search function.
Okay, so that's my question. So, I mean, I can probably count on my one hand how many times I would have requested it in writing. If I had something very critical, I'd say, can you please put that in writing?
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
But I
It'd
think,
be very rare.
I think all of the videos, you could do the voice to text anyway, and exactly what you're saying is going to be printed.
YouTube does generate closed captions. However, it's AI, it's very buggy.
Yes.
The word of water might be said differently from someone from New Jersey who says water. And so that might be misgenerated. So
The Texas accents are often.
also different.
Well, I'm just saying, for example, I've got I'm sorry.
The closed caption doesn't.
Golly.
How would that come out?
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. I'm just saying, for example, if I was sending an email, I had some issue and there's a huge issue for me, I'd say, hey, as referred to in the minutes from blah, 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 and you could say, here it is in the written statement, instead of going, check the recording of this, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, for me personally, it'd be very extremely rare that I would ever request that. So that's just my 2 cents worth.
And so just like on this slide, it shows agenda and video, it would also have minutes. And so you notice how on the third line, it doesn't have the agenda ready. That would be until it's proposed, until it's accepted by city council. And yes, we accept these minutes. And it's not until every single council member agrees of what statement should be put on there. Just like you said, like I need this on the record. That will be published when it's ready and to their liking. However, this conversation is more about requesting permission to upload our videos somewhere. And so they're available online. And so the way it would be done is the visitor to a website would click the video and it'll put them to a new link, a new specific web address from our city webpage. Someone can just share it and it'll have the agenda and the code to the video. So that's my side where I would code in that video address and all that. And on the next slide, you'll see you can just press the video and it'll start playing. That's how it's gonna look like to the consumer. Meeting type, public hearing, or is it a regular council meeting, regular council meeting, and then have the meeting date. And just like our document is 2022, 0405. And so if you press the video, it will start playing. It should start playing at least. But you know how it is with, no. Well, it should start playing. It worked on my end of my computer. And so on the next slide, so this is how it's going to be. It's going to describe what type of meeting it is, then the year, month, date. The proposed city YouTube channel I suggest is just City of Martindale -YouTube channel. And this would be our city recognized YouTube channel, and the city clerk would manage the uploads and add timestamps to the agenda and actions. On the right side, if you press the blue text, it would lead you exactly to that point. This is on YouTube's website, not on the city's, but you could also follow the URL from our website to YouTube, which would direct you to the description. And the videos will be embedded to our city's webpage on the following slide. This is the city of Pasadena, who posts all their city council meetings. On the following side is a description from Plano, and who puts links to their agenda on the YouTube description if someone were to stumble across it. And then again, I reiterate the timestamps. So ours would have the agenda, link to our agenda, and then below in the description, you'll say item 1A is going to be the mayor's report, and then item 1A, then it's going to say action was taken on so-and-so.
So in the future, if we do go to the YouTube channel process, would the initiation of that or the meeting starting, would it be a Zoom link initially, or would it be a YouTube link?
It would be a YouTube link.
A YouTube link.
So
So we'll be doing away with Zoom, basically.
No.
No.
We're getting the recordings from Zoom.
There might be, we'll look into see what, I forget what the acronym stands for, APIs, basically a way to live stream off of Zoom. I know you can live stream off of Zoom onto Facebook. If we had a Facebook page, I don't know what APIs exist between Zoom and like a YouTube live type of feed. But as Adrian referenced, that's not a requirement of us under state law like it is for other larger cities where they are required to provide a live stream. For us, we would still publish unless we're able to figure out that live stream capability, and it's, you know, pretty easy thing to do. The proposal tonight is just for hosting and publishing the recordings, not necessarily live stream. So you still use the link.
Question. I know we, in the past, we only had voice recordings. What did we do to those?
They're still around. They're actually saved on the computers, and you can just save a YouTube video, but just it would have a picture instead with no visuals.
Right. Okay.
We'd probably start with what's on video.
Yes, I agree.
And just like a Jared, there's a time frame that we had to work on pulling out videos so we have them saved and not lost potentially.
So do you think during I have one last question. Do you think during the meetings of 20 or 2021, where we had 21 meetings that were not, had minutes recorded, is it that it's so much to type during the course of the meeting that it's hard to keep up with it? Do you think that was the factor of not accomplishing that task?
If we did it the way San Marcos did it with a much more lean content, not a problem. I have it here ready right now with the motions we've made this meeting so far. But if you want to get the spirit and the context of the meeting and being able to share what we're doing here, you're going to have to give us some time to really, like Mike Clive said, to write it down of the spirit of our meetings and to get the real, what everybody's saying and the context about how everybody's stance is.
Are we accepting questions from the public? I think someone from the public had a question.
Well, I just want to follow up on that.
Yes.
So this is a new city clerk, an interim role, seeing a problem, looking to solve it. I don't want to get into too much why or how comes past city clerks didn't do.
No,
so.
no, I know that it's a lot to sit there and type all that down. Nobody can do that unless they type 150 words a minute or whatever. No, I was just seeing what the process was.
The process wasn't a good process. This is a much better process.
Yes.
I'll put it. There was if the council wants to entertain question, we can.
I think she had a question.
Ms. McGovern?
Yes, I'm Gordon McGovern. As a citizen, I would choose anything that can get the information that happens in the meeting to the public as soon as possible. However that is, it makes the city more transparent, what's going on. That's my feeling.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mary Jo?
Oh, yes, Ms. Harper.
Yeah, not everybody in Wartville has access, computer access. Okay, and in fact, the meeting tonight wasn't even, the agenda was not posted on the website until yesterday, not 72 hours. Okay, I'm old school. I don't do YouTube. I don't do Facebook and some of that other stuff. It's a big waste of time. So me, I'm like, how am I gonna find the agenda? Because that's what I do. I look at the agenda. Do I want to go to the San Marcos meeting or do I want to go to Martindale meeting? Depends on what agenda I'm interested in. Okay, are you changing the main city website? Because that's when I go to look for the agenda.
We'll likely be making improvements as we develop a web page that's more dedicated. Right now, if you go to our city website and look up agendas, it's going to direct you to basically a document folder structure. We prefer to get a cleaner web page interface, so it's something more like that list where it's accessible through links instead of hunting and pecking through document folders and other things. So you'll likely see some improvements there.
Right now, on the city web pages under 2022, there's a place for agenda, minutes, notices. You don't need those other two, just the agenda.
Yes, you will still have it in writing for you to be able to click on. and
Okay,
print
that's
out.
old people there, so.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, I'll do YouTube.
so the general YouTube conditions, so as long as we don't break any of the following rules that YouTube proposes, such as impersonating someone, another YouTube channel or another creator, or put acts of violence, or without, at least, do not be, what's that? Obscene, no obscenities, which I don't think happens often in council meetings. And if in the case that it does happen, which it happened about a year and a half ago, that would not be uploaded because we just couldn't, or we would have to edit out that section. And we would just have to fast track those minutes to be compliant with our Opens Meetings Act in a timely manner. But most of these recordings will be posted within the next day or two, and will give us still time to work on actual minutes while providing the information in a timely manner.
So what he's saying is we're not doing away with written minutes. We're gonna do both, but by putting the videos online, people will have quicker access to the minutes. And we'll still have written minutes, they would just be pared down a little bit.
Wait, I'll make a suggestion. I mean, this.
No, that's why it's council.
What we used to do when I was working, a lot of times you'd make your minutes. Like if I make a statement, like I had this big issue, if it would be acceptable, or I guess it'd be legal, if I wrote the minutes, so this is what I said and give it to you. Would that be kosher or not? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know why it would be necessary.
I'm just saying it's an extremely important issue. You want to make sure that you're quoted.
It's recorded.
What I'm saying is, but like I said earlier, I'm all for this,
but in certain circumstances, I won't have it.
Would you want to, would the purpose be to amend statements of for the record?
It would be, no, it'd be for somebody if they were writing a report or writing a report on this issue and they, you want to go and say, well, check the minutes, the video, just have theirs quote, this was the statement in the minutes.
So yeah, if we went to like written reports, like a lot of cities, what they'll do here, I think it's a very collaborative atmosphere, and the city council has conducted it this way, where the mayor's report, city administrator's report, court report, police report, boards and commissions reports are all provided orally. If the city council chose to make those written reports and included as part of like a consent item, agenda item, where you provided the written report and then you get to the agenda item under consent, approved, submitted reports, and then they're not discussed, or those reports would still be kept as part of the official record of the meeting because they're what was approved as part of the city council action. It would likely just be documentation. So if that's what you're referencing.
I think also technically, like if you wanted to, or any city council member wanted to, you could do your own city council Facebook page. And then what you say on there, that's your record of what happened. You just can't delete anything because you're using it in an official capacity. But you would be able to post your videos on there. You would be able to post your links on there. You could put whatever you type on there, you're tying it to your city role.
I'm
wants it right.
I'm like Ms. Harper, I'm not a big Facebook. but
Okay,
I'm just saying, I mean, it's gonna be, I won't let it go.
If it's that important,
I'll
you
look- I'll
have a
address it.
written
I'll-
prepared statement and
I'll
hand it
address
to him.
It's gonna be
after you
extremely
say-
rare. It's gonna be extremely rare for me.
We'll have it written and
Just
prepared ahead of time. You'll
We
be
can
fine.
work through that. So we're going on subject.
And the
Sorry.
great thing about this, it holds everybody accountable for what they say, like my council member said this or something about this. And sometimes, you can't get the same spirit of it, or writing can't be equally said as a inspiring moment that a council member say something,
But yeah, if there's a debate, policy debate on things, sometimes it's hard to capture the nuance of that conversation. It's just having a recording better captures those nuances.
And so if a council member decides to say, for the record, that means, they can someone's going to listen to that instead of having it being written down that so-and-so said this. But if a council member says, for the record, they're highlighting the next phrase they're about to say or statement.
We got a deal, buddy. All right.
There's somebody else has a question.
Yes.
Just wanted to mention that if you're using the city of San Marcos as an example on the minutes, you're missing two critical pieces. They also have transparency guidelines that kind of govern what goes on the minutes, which is why they've gone to verbatim, that they've gone away from verbatim minutes. The other thing is that probably 2008, they did away with council reports because they're too broad. They're not condensed to be within a council agenda because they're difficult to agendize. And that actually came from a recommendation from the city attorney.
Were you once the mayor of San Marcos?
Yes, sir.
During what year?
2010 to 2016, I was on the city council, 2004 to 2008. I actually crafted those ordinances.
Wow, thank you.
The big,
Yeah.
But his most
some-
important job was as a volunteer at the library.
Some of that's related to home rule charters or general law, but
Yeah.
those sort of guidelines, if the city council want to consider, just to further define those rules, if you wanted to do that. It's a, ordinance or resolution that you guys could do.
I'm okay. So
Okay. And so these are the big points that YouTube is kind of big on right now, given the recent years. The first, YouTube does give any YouTube channel 3 strikes, but they also have the rights to appeal. So you get 1 warning, 3 strikes. And if you violate any of the rules that were before mentioned or are going to be mentioned, we might have to make a claim saying that, no, we did not falsely report on an issue, or that, no, this is not an obscenity.
So this comes
So
in,
these will be live on YouTube?
no, so what he's getting at is
So we can
YouTube has, if you post a video on YouTube, it has certain guidelines and rules. Think of it as, well, it is a nationally sensitive topic between the political parties regarding the use of social media and what some describe as censorship. So here is where YouTube has rules regarding content that's posted relating to misinformation, elections, misinformation, COVID-19, vaccine information. We would never, the city council, I could not foresee a situation where the city council would break these rules. Or it has posed issues for cities in the past is an open comments, public comments. So if somebody in public comments says, you know, COVID-19 is a Chinese hoax, something crazy like that. Well, is it a possibility that YouTube highlights that, sanctions it, and now, you know, we get warnings and 3 strikes and whatever. So we'll get into how we would handle that further on, but that's the context of this discussion.
And so one would be misinformation, so saying that that Germ-X is all you need to clean a cut, or it's all you need, or Germ-X is a great a spice for your food. It's harmful, so you shouldn't promote things like that. Then saying that, oh, the census is not real, or doesn't, you're saying don't do the census because it's just a bunch of magic stuff that doesn't exist. And so, or saying that the being manipulated contents, we wouldn't really be doing that too much since we've listed council meetings. And then misattributed content, we'll be saying that this video of, let's say in the Ukraine, is something from World War II and is not relevant today. That's stuff we shouldn't be putting on YouTube or claiming. And so that probably won't happen. This one is a little bit more sensitive to Martindale, and or at least just being as a government in general, any city has to be aware, is that do not purposely tell the public that, oh yeah, election day is on June, not in May. So lying about the elections or how to vote, or the legitimacy of a candidate, really just messing with the democratic process, or promoting it purposely to manipulate the audience. Next slide. And the next slide's a quick,
yeah, we'll
description, but we don't need to. Then the COVID-19 medical misinformation saying that cactus is a great remedy for beating COVID-19, and you'll be good in 1 day. So basically, anything that really goes against the World Health Organization, and promoting false information or any slander of any kind towards COVID-19 that isn't already kind of discussed, would cause us to give us a strike or a warning. Next slide. And then also vaccine misinformation saying the vaccines don't work, or that any vaccine would give you purple hair or something crazy. Saying anything wrong about vaccines would be on a council meeting that's going to be recorded on YouTube, would give us a penalty.
So what we would likely do is, Adrian and I were discussing this, we can provide as I'm sharing screen, that like this, what's on the screens in here is was also being shared with members of the community who are participating via Zoom. So what we would likely do is include a disclaimer or something on a tile slide during public comments that would protect us from being potentially liable for something that's said in an open public setting by a member of the public or what have you. But it's, we want to make sure that it's a risk when you're using YouTube. If we expect to comply with state law by using YouTube and then YouTube goes and removes a video of ours, then we're not in compliance with state law. It's kind of what we want to bring up so you're aware of what could
So
Could go
will the
wrong.
city council need to approve all the videos?
no.
In
That
2 hours to do that? I can
No, no,
read
no.
minutes, but-
no. That's not what we're.
all right.
And so these are possible revisions of the ordinances that we currently have that address minutes. And most of these would just say and recordings. So the city manager or city administrator is responsible for the efficient management of all city records, including city council minutes and recordings, which would be an addition to the change. And there's chapter 3103, section 4C, would require that and recordings. Again, this is all up to council for wanting to or not wanting to make amends to the ordinances.
Yeah, so if the council tonight decides to take action, what we would do is come back in a future meeting with those
The
ordinance
specific
changes.
ordinance.
But he's giving you a preview of what that would look like.
And also city clerk, same thing, including that we will be in accordance with state law and city ordinances, including city council minutes and recordings. Next one would also be and recordings and recordings and recordings and recordings. The next one would be or recordings. So this one is on accessory uses of structures, that if we are to deny a permission for something, that we would use minutes or go back to the recording, and that will be our justification for why denying a certain decision. And so, and the ordinance will look something to the effect of the creation of a city recognized YouTube channel named as City of Martindale YouTube channel, which is the channel name. Whereas all recorded city council meetings and commissions, public meetings be recorded and published on the city's official YouTube channel.
What we can do for tonight is consider this as a action item, and then we'll begin this process and then present the ordinance changes accordingly. So,
So there's really no motion.
well, the requested motion is to allow the city to create,
Proceed, yes.
and as it says here. Yep.
All right, I make a motion to approve posting of minutes and recordings of open meetings. And, or I guess the city clerk.
Yeah,
and
so-
City manager.
Yeah,
So do it this.
I would just,
But if you read
Procedure.
that,
All right, I propose the creation of a city organized YouTube channel named as City of Martindale, the YouTube channel. Whereas by recording city council meetings and commissions, public meetings be recorded and published into the city's official YouTube channel.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Okay, hearing none. Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Sam, how do you vote?
yes.
Okay, so the motion carries. Good job, Adrian.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for working on the presentation and compiling that. That was very easy to comprehend.
And it's going to be a nice little improvement.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I want to add something.
Oh, yes.
Future agenda item.
That's not on the agenda.
We didn't put
Just
that.
do,
Okay,
Virginia Parker has requested to do a presentation in front of council on impervious cover. So I'd like to have that as a discussion only, a review of our current ordinances regarding impervious cover, and have the speaker. I guess she's part of the
Could be
river.
a presentation.
She's part of the river advisory committee, so that could be.
Advisory. She did request that.
Okay, is there any other items people would like to discuss? Council,
Well, I think we
It's not on the agenda.
well, I allowed Maya, so.
need to discuss, and you and I have discussed about the maintenance of the parks for the summertime.
Okay.
That's all.
And I know I had requested for an item to be put on the agenda about a citizen and a payment that was made. And I know you wrote it down, but it was never added as an agenda item. I'm wondering just,
I think we are addressing that. We're not prepared for that at this point.
so it can't be placed on the agenda?
I put it on the list, but we'll.
I mean, you know, just to be able to ask questions. I mean, because I don't know.
Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 8:11 on April 5th.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor,
Aye.
please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.